Today I wanted to shoot a quick bonus video for you on the topic of undercover workouts. Okay, these are a subcategory or a sub-branch of micro workouts, and the concept here, as you might have guessed, is this is where we don't want other people to know what we're doing. So we're in a meeting, in line, in class, and we want to appear well behaved. And I'll say this, I think it's a real bummer, culturally speaking, that we don't feel freer to get up and move around and stretch and everything, but it is what it is. So when we want to do an undercover workout, we're going to apply a lot of the micro workout concepts, but we have some other constraints. So we want to take it on a sort of situation by situation basis. So as you get to learn the formulae for micro workouts, for tiny habits, you will recognize, okay, first we need a prompt. So when I am, when I'm sitting, for example, and X happens, when I'm in line, etc. So let's start with sitting. There are a few things we can do. I'm in my chair. I've got to be eyes on screen. What can I do? Well, let's see. Let's start with the feet. We can do individual toe lift off, so you can push all of your toes into the floor and then just lift the big toe up. This is a little bit of coordination. By the way, you're doing this for the first time, it's going to feel pretty difficult, right? But I find people get way better at this very quickly. So within 3 or 4 sort of attempts, you'll find that your skills increase a lot. And then the inverse of that is to push the big toe on the ground, leave that, continue to put pressure into it as you lift the other 4 toes. So that's something you can do. You can work on spreading them at the same time, integrating coordination. There we go, stuff's happening. Other people can't see it. One of my favorite things to do is get my feet under me. So, and I think this would be advice in general for just for good posture in a chair. And that's not to say there's a fixed position, but just as a concept, okay? You want to be just on the cusp of standing. So are your feet way in front of you? Or are they under you enough that you feel like you can engage with the ground and start to push into the ground? And even if you don't have enough positioning to get there, just that effort and that intention will immediately create some changes, you'll notice, right in your core, right, as you create structure to begin standing up. So this is another one you can play with. You can turn it up, turn it down. I might say, all right, I'm super bored during this whatever, we're going through some sort of checklist that I'm not engaged in. I could, for example, begin to push into the floor just enough that I feel like I'm about to stand up, right? People don't want to see you straining. So you can play around with that and keep your game face. And then you can just gently dial it down so we're not quite relaxed, okay? But something's on, and you can undulate back and forth, or you can just hold a position for a while and integrate your breathing with that. So breathing is probably the obvious one, is a really great place to start. So when in doubt, deep diaphragmatic breathing. Look to, I'm always encouraging people to expand posterior laterally into the back of the ribs. It's a good opportunity to create a little more tension here. Breathe here, mobilize your ribs, and we can combine any or all of the above. I'll give you can apply all this stuff, obviously in other positions. Some of it is sitting specific, but I'm going to give you a couple more from a standing position. One of my favorite things in the world to do, okay, if I'm next to a wall, okay, so let's say the wall's here, I'm just going to shift my weight onto one leg. So even this setup is part of a process, and you can do this individually or separately. So I'm going to just sink my knees or take the air out a little bit. Now I'm going to shift laterally. So the goal is to load one foot without a hip shift, right? Without doing this, standing up, just shift it laterally so that when I lift, in this case my right foot, there's no visible change, right? As opposed to this. So if I'm doing this, I could, for example, I could just shift back and forth, unload, right? And this is, subtle enough. When in doubt, just do it more slowly. Or you could, if there's a wall near you, what I like to do is reach to the side and a little bit back, get my heel into the wall, not the toes, but the heel, and gently start to act like I want to nudge the wall over. I'm not really expecting it to move, but I will feel my glutes light up. If you do not feel your glutes, if you feel your hip flexors, for example, I'll just suggest that you reach a little further back or that you turn the toes in sort of go pigeon-toed a little bit and lead with the heel. That should take care of that. Or finally, if you want, you can bend the knee and go from the knee, shorten the lever. That works for a lot of people. That may be less subtle. But there we go. We can combine this again. Put a little bit here. If I don't have a wall, I can simply grip the floor with my foot and begin to pull the floor apart. So I've got a little more weight on this foot this time. I need it to make it sticky, and then I'm sort of sliding, and that should be enough, again, to feel the glutes. Same principles apply if you feel the hip flexors or you're having trouble, just reach a little further back, so not parallel, but this foot will be offset and behind, and stretch out. So these are some tools that you can integrate just about anywhere for a body check-in. Always layer breath on. I hope that gives you some ideas for undercover workouts, how to sneak body awareness and exercise in, even in the most inopportune moments. Talk to you soon.